Deion Sanders.
Some of you got upset that we got the W. Some of you, I'm really mad that we didn't get the L. So God bless you all. You have to wait again till next week.
Does not have a great relationship.
I know that Deion Sanders is a Hall of Famer, but at Colorado last year, you can't call yourself the big bad wolf when you were 1-8 after starting off 3-0
with the media.
I'm not sure Deion Sanders is ever going to get them to the playoffs because I don't think he has the patience to stay at Colorado long enough. The program looking out has a ridiculously inflated view of itself. Colorado is nothing. They don't matter. They're irrelevant in the big picture of college football.
He'll fire back.
So when you hear guys like Paul Feinbaum calling your program irrelevant,
But he talking about us. How can we be irrelevant and you talking about me?
Yeah.
And also take action against certain members of the media. That's where we introduced Sean Keeler, an award-winning sports writer. Keeler would be banned from asking questions by the University of Colorado. The athletic department would say in a statement after a series of sustained personal attacks on the football program and specifically Coach Prime, the CU athletic department, in conjunction with the football program, have decided not to take questions from Denver Post columnist Sean Keeler at football-related events.
Coach Prime is showing he is not ready for prime time, Greeny. I find this whole thing to be disgraceful. Deion may want to talk about love and joy, and that's been the cornerstone of what he seems to be spewing out. But treating reporters like this seems like we're in some autocratic country. This is not America, and the fact that it's in his contract is really even more absurd. But don't forget, he did this at Jackson State. This is a trait of Deion Sanders. He wants to have it his way, and I find him to be a bully and a hypocrite, and quite frankly, as someone who has been a fan of his throughout his entire career, even at Colorado, I am mortified by his actions.
I'll save my takeaway for later in the segment, more on the story that I want to fill y'all in on via ABC, according to the Post. A Colorado Athletic Department media relations staffer told the newspaper it took issue with Keeler's references to Sanders as Deposition Deion, the Bruce Lee of BS, and a false prophet, and his use of phrases such as Planet Prime, the Deion Kool-Aid, and circus. The ban is indefinite, according to media reports.
Yeah, I have offered to talk to Deion and his representatives privately on multiple occasions, and specifically very recently, since this went down. I've not received a response. I can keep asking, and I think I know what the answer is, but I'm always willing to sit down and talk about that. And frankly, if the results on the field are different than what we saw last year, Paul, I promise you, I will be the first person to write and to say, hey, man, hey, Coach Prime, I was wrong. As you saw from the story that was written about it, my boss has said, what has Sean Keeler done that violates any of your ethical or professional standards? And I said, none.
That's Keeler weighing in on ESPN. From the Post, Keeler's employer asked if Deion Sanders requested Keeler be barred from asking questions. The staffers would decline to answer. Feinbaum did mention it's in Prime's contract. So what exactly does he mean by that? Let's explain. Sanders has specific language in his contract that requires him to speak only with mutually agreed upon media as part of his employment with CU. The mutually agreed upon clause does not appear in the contracts of either the Buffs men's basketball coach, women's basketball coach, nor was it in the contract of Deion's predecessor. Additionally, Feinbaum said this is just repeated history with Deion Sanders. What does he mean by that as well? Let's explain. In July of 2021, a reporter from the Jackson Clarion Ledger was barred from reporting on the Jackson State football team at the Southwestern Athletic Conference Media Day, a day after the reporter would write a story detailing a DV charge against one of the team's top recruits. If that is accurate, okay? And it appears that it is. You're now banning reporters at the time because they covered that? Seems fickle. So one sports anchor for WUSA 9, which is based in Colorado, put together a report of how, in his words, Deion Sanders tries to intimidate the media, waves them off, dismisses questions, and even told the outlet he will not take questions from them. That outlet, CBS Sports. Longtime Around the Horn panelist and Denver-based sports writer Woody Page would weigh in on the topic. 4 former Colorado football coaches and I had major issues over columns I wrote. 3 wouldn't do any more interviews with me. It was their right, and I had the right to write. Both sides kept the dispute private, not public. Like Page, long-time and well-respected sports media member Dan Patrick gave his 2 cents.
There's blame. Now, Deion it feels like he's being a bully here. He wants to set the tone of, we're not going to take that negativity. But, it goes along with this. If he's creating great expectations, if he's saying, hey, I think we're one of the top 15 teams in America, okay, then you can hold him accountable with those words. But I don't know. It feels like, is Deion a false prophet? If he's saying they're going to be in the college football playoffs, do we take every coach at his word for what they say? And look, the columnist is trying to make a name for himself. Yeah, so I'm trying to understand both sides of this. Columnist, you want people to read your column. You want clicks. You want eyeballs. Deion wants that on his program. Both are receiving it. Deion, it feels like, is empowering this columnist by all of a sudden, hey, what he's saying, it hurts.
Now, Stephen Godfrey of The Post would offer a different perspective. The reality is coaches have less than zero interest in good faith engagement with the press. That is true. Just to give an idea, however, of the kinds of questions Sanders may appreciate via ABC once more is this. During the exchange, when Keeler asked multiple times if he could ask a football question and Prime declined, he'd move on to a reporter who asked about his birthday plans. The reporter before Keeler at the conference would ask Prime, how important is it for everyone to have Aflac as part of their life? As Sanders, as we know, is a paid spokesperson for the insurance company. So let's just keep this real, all right? Let me say this to start. It goes without saying that Deion Sanders is a good football coach. He is. It goes without saying he is an even better marketer and salesperson, I would say, than he is a coach. He knows how to get his games on, pardon the pun, prime time. He knows how to keep his team in the national spotlight. Now, does that create different storylines of people then latching on to Colorado and giving their take on why they think they're doo-doo or why they think they're great? And it also gives, by the way, a golden opportunity for some at different networks to brown-nose the hell out of this program in order to curry favors later on, whether it's with their podcast or a column, what have you, because it's very clear what Deion Sanders wants. And let me just say, that game against North Dakota State, I have 2 screens in my office. One was on Naomi Osaka and Carlos Alcaraz being bounced from the U.S. Open. The other was Colorado, North Dakota State. And the game was fantastic to watch. But as an objective member of the media, I must say, this stinks, man. This stinks. And let me give you an example. If the shoe were on the other foot and say someone like Dana White kept banning reporters from press conferences, revoking their credentials because he does not appreciate their honest-to-God reporting and news breaking. And he prefers members of the media who will raise their hand and ask questions such as, how would you feel about XYZ fighter branding me on my behind? What Dana has done is cultivated an environment of stripping the press because he does not believe in the freedom the press has, whether he likes their coverage or not, and instead wants it to be a damn circus. He wants people kissing his you-know-what. He wants friendly media. Okay? Politically, if Donald Trump were to ban and bar members of the media because he does not like their questions, or he does not like their reporting, or he does not like their columns, what would y'all be saying? Because he's done it. He's done it many times over. So I feel an imbalance here because, to be very clear, I like Deion Sanders and I like the attention that he brings. And quite honestly, I think it's very good for college football. Serving as the hero role, or the villain role, it's very good for college football. I thought the same when, just from a eyeballs perspective, purely eyeballs perspective, when Floyd Mayweather was fighting, all right, when he was boxing, people watched him because they wanted to see him lose. And you had the loyalists who thought that he was, and could very well be, the greatest of all time, and no one could touch him. Except, of course, for Shane. Except for Shane and Marcus Maidana. So, Zab also got him too, but nonetheless, we're not talking about boxing. So, my point being, why are we so hard on Dana White, on Donald Trump, on others who put forth the same practices? But yet, there's like this gray area with Deion Sanders. And I'm honest to God, I don't know why. I don't. I think this is a bad look. Because quite honestly, what Colorado has done, in my opinion, is shine a light on how atrocious of a decision this is. What they are doing is they see a small fire. Instead of just letting Mother Nature run its course and the flames burning out, they are pouring more gasoline on it in the form of attention. I don't know who decided this was the way to go, but I'm telling you, it ain't it. It ain't it. And growing up in Chicago, I saw how ruthless some media members could be. And you know what happened? The coach would have a really good answer to those questions, or they would just give a wish-washy answer and move on. Because once you start giving it that sort of attention, it will build up into a Bayless-like character from a media perspective. Just let it go. That is the best thing that could happen. And take a page out of Lincoln Riley's book. When he banned, I'm blanking on the reporter's name, I think it's Luke something, from the Orange County Register. It lasted about a week because he got called out left and right because it was a bad decision. This is another one. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.